Wildflower Western Lifestyle Live with host Becca Salamone.
Hey everybody, I'm Becca Salamone and you're watching Wildflower Western Lifestyle Live, and we are continuing our DRA Centennial Ranch series with another interview, and I'm so excited to have a special guest on with me, and we're going to talk about all the things that make Circle Z Ranch so fantastic, and her name is Diana Nash, one of the owners
Good
there.
morning.
Yeah,
Good morning,
welcome.
Becca.
Welcome and happy 100-year anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really fun to be here and continuing the celebration and talking with you about that.
Definitely. Do you
Yeah.
know the actual date of the when it started?
I think it was late fall in 2025. So by 2026, they were up and running.
Okay.
But I don't have, it's funny because I don't have actual, I wish I did, like in my logs, there's a little bit of confusion about what the actual dates were, but
Okay.
yeah, it would
All
be
right.
fun to know the actual date, but we're just
Yeah.
winging it.
Yeah, that's right. When I never know dates, I say it's January 1.
Yeah, right. I hope you
So,
can't hear my dog barking, by the
well,
way.
I have to tell you, my dog started barking right before we went live, and it's because another dog came onto the property. So if you hear that, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
well, yeah, I apologize for Lena. I have two dogs outside and one has to stay in because she just had knee surgery and she can't be out. So if she barks, she barks. That's part of
Well,
ranch life, a
that's
barking
the way it
blue
is.
heeler.
When you do live stuff, it just happens, and that's okay.
Yeah,
All right. So before we get
yeah,
into the ranch stuff, I just want to
yes.
talk about you a little bit. I mean, because you were the
Oh,
one
sure.
talking here, and what is your history? How did you get into horses, or how did you get into do ranching? How'd that happen?
Oh, well, I mean, I loved horses since I was a little girl. I mean, going back to when I was growing up, we always had horses. My aunts, uncles always had horses. I have pictures of me as like a 2-year-old little girl with my cousins sitting on, up in front of them on a little palomino. So horses have always been a part of my life, very informally when I was young and growing up. And as I got into my adulthood, I married a fabulous man, Rick Nash. And after, while we were engaged, I found out many things about him. One is that his mom owned a dude ranch in Arizona. She actually lived in Cleveland, but owned this ranch in Arizona. And so I'm like, what is that? I didn't even know what a dude ranch or a guest ranch was. And I remember visiting with her about it at her home in Ohio, and her, going on about this place. And I'm like, how can there be such a fabulous, fantastic spot to spend time with horses?
Yeah.
I mean, this would have been my dream as a kid. So that's kind of was my first introduction. And we actually went to the ranch when for kind of a part of our engagement tour, whatever. And I just fell in love with it. And so we continued in our early married life to help Lucia. I mean, I was in Montana. He and I were in Montana at the time, and Lucia was in Ohio. So we helped her quite a bit, just like oversight type stuff. And so we came into it by family ties, by inheritance. When she passed a few years back, we ended up took it over as far as being the oversight people, and I started becoming much more hands-on and spending much more time in Arizona. So that's kind of my story.
Okay.
And over those years, as I was becoming more involved and more active, like in hands-on stuff, I really got to do a deeper dive also into, horsemanship and training and, things that I'd always really been passionate about, but just having the area, the exposure, the time to do it. It's just,
Right.
yeah.
All
So
right.
that's,
Yeah, that's a good story. You should stick
thank
to
you.
it.
Yeah, stick to it. That's
That's
what I always say. Yeah.
Um, now, kind of transitioning over to the ranch history itself. So, has
Yes.
that family always been the owners
The
of Circle?
Nash family.
Yes.
No, it was actually the ranch was founded by Carl and Lee Zinsmeister, and they were two brothers, young men, probably in their mid-20s, from Louisville. And they, it was kind of the era of the dude ranch craze, and people are starting up dude ranches, people wanting to experience the Western lifestyle, and so they're like, let's do it, and so they searched around for the perfect spot, and where they could go in all directions, beautiful scenery, wonderful terrain for riding, and they found what is now Circle Z Ranch, and it was actually had been a sheep herding ranch in Arizona, which wasn't popular with the cattle men, but that's what it was. And they bought it from the property. I think it was, I'm not sure how many acres they bought initially. No records of that. Probably 1,000 or 2,000 acres, and turned it then into a guest ranch. And so they built the buildings. None of the guest cottages that we have now were there at the time. And so that's how they kind of started the whole thing. So that's kind of the history. So the Zinsmeisters were the owners for 25 years, quite a long stretch. During those 25 years, when my mother was, excuse me, my mother-in-law, Lucia Nash, was a teenager, her parents started bringing her to the ranch. So
Okay.
she knew the Zinsmeister. She
Oh,
started spending time in there in the 30s. So this was kind of part of her and her family's formative life. They were already horse people. They were big into fox hunting, English riding, and just were very much conservationists. So being in this area that was so biodiverse, so beautiful, and really worth saving and restoring, they kind of fell in love with the area. Anyway, so that was kind of their start. And then after the Zinsmeisters, they sold it in about early 1950s to Fred Fendig, who was a
okay.
banker out of Chicago. He ran it for 25 years, and then my mother-in-law and her husband bought the ranch at that time, in 1976 from Fred Fendig. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
50
y'all have
years
been
now.
there
So
ever
100
since.
years for the ranch. And Lena, sorry, I
Yeah,
can't
my
replace
daughter's whining at me too.
so 100 years for the ranch and 50 years for the Nash family as owners.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So,
All right.
yeah.
So let's kind of talk about the unique location where this is. It's in the
Mm,
Sky Islands terrain
Sky
area,
Islands.
which I'd never heard of until I started talking to you. And I looked up all that stuff and how much nature there is and different diverse species. So you tell, because I don't know as well as you
Well,
do.
it's, yeah, it's very interesting. Basically, Sky Islands are several different biomes, so several different ecosystems that combine into one area. So you've got the mountain ranges up out of Mexico, the mountain ranges from the north, and they all kind of converge in this area of southern Arizona. And the islands, what that refers to is you have big mountain ranges. Surrounding those out mountain ranges, there are grasslands, and then surrounding those, there's desert scrub. So, and then mixed into our area is riparian area, because we have the Sonoyta Creek. Lena, that's enough. Sorry. We have Sonoyta Creek, which runs through the property. So we also have the riparian. So you have these mountain ranges, which are the islands surrounded by the grasslands, which you would see as the oceans, maybe, but they're all different biomes. So you have the type of ecology in the mountain ranges. So you'll see different types of flora, different types of wildlife that you would see in the grasslands, and of course, different types of an ecosystem in the desert. So it's very, very diverse, very, very interesting biologically speaking, and
Sorry,
it's.
I'm trying to test if we're live over here, and we are. Sorry about that. I had the volume on.
I don't have to start over, do I?
No, no, we're doing good. Yeah. So
Um, so that's kind of a quick and easy on the Sky Islands. It's really quite a complex but very interesting topic, and a lot of research has gone into it. The Nature Conservancy is very involved down in that area in protecting the diversity there. the Audubon Society is very active in that area. Just, a lot of it is because of the bird life that
Or-
comes through there. It's kind of a major migratory route for birds that come through from the south going up to the
Okay.
northern parts of the countries. So yeah, it's a very interesting part of the world.
Is birding one of the activities that your guests take part in?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people are drawn to that area for birding. I mean, it's a world-class birding area. So
Mm.
people who will come to the ranch are often they enjoy birding. They enjoy learning more about birds. There's the Nature Conservancy right next door, and then there's the well, they don't call it the Tucson Audub. They don't call it the Audubon anymore, but it's basically a backyard birding area that is world known. So a lot of guests will go there to see. They have all these feeders and hummingbirds and so yes, a lot of guests. We don't specifically have birding groups like we used to, but there is that opportunity just to be kind of immersed in that. A lot of people have different, like the Merlin app, so they'll be out on a ride and they hear a bird and they go, oh, what is that? And they turn their app on and it says, oh, it's a
Oh,
red-tailed
that's
hawk
cool.
or a
I have that for plants. I love plants.
Oh yeah, the Merlin app is fantastic if anyone wants to like kind of like you're sitting out on the patio or riding a horse or out for a hike and you hear a bird. It's like, what is that? What is that? And it picks up the sound, tells you what the bird is and what it
That's
looks like.
neat.
So then you can look for the bird. But yeah, birding is just such a popular activity in that area and also for guests that come. Hmm.
Okay. Now it's called Sonoita, right? The Sonoita Creek.
Sonoita. Hmm.
And do you say creek or crick?
I don't know. How did I say it? I think Snowy Creek. I say Creek.
Okay.
I'm West.
I
I'm
was sure.
West
I think
Coast.
I heard crick, but maybe not.
I don't know. You have me thinking about it. I don't
But
know. I just
but talk about that particular feature because
oh
that
yes.
that never dries up, right? And that's kind of rare out there.
Well, no. So that's very, very rare. So Sonoyta Creek is one of the only perennial water sources above ground water sources in Arizona. So yes, it does run year round, which supports a lot of habitats. We have huge Fremont cottonwood trees. I mean, people come there and they go, water, these
Yeah.
huge deciduous trees, Fremont cottonwood, the velvet ash trees. You can go on and on. So that's kind of part of our riparian habitat. So the Sonoyta Creek actually comes from an underground aquifer and it surfaces north of the ranch, northeast of the ranch, not north, excuse me, east. I get my directions mixed up. Out just south of Sonoyta. So you have Sonoyta, then you have Patagonia, which is the nearest town to us. So between there, that is where the place called Monkey Springs, where it starts coming to the surface. And then it drops underground and then it comes to surface again at the Nature Conservancy, which is that property borders us, and then it flows all the way through the ranch property. So we protect about 2 miles of that stream. I think the Nature Conservancy also has maybe a 2 miles or so that they protect, and then to the west of us is state land, so they protect that the rest of it before it dumps into Patagonia Lake,
Okay.
which is a dammed lake. The dam actually went in the year after my in-laws bought the ranch. So it was free flowing. They put a dam in for recreational purposes. They thought a lake in Arizona, how novel. And so that's how the lake came about. It
Okay.
used to just be a canyon, there were movies filmed in that canyon because it was so beautiful. I think anyways, I can't think of exactly the name of the movies, but it's now a lake, but major recreational area, major
Okay.
birding area. Yeah.
All right. So I failed to say when we first started that you're
Yeah.
located in Patagonia, Arizona. So
But yeah, Patagonia, Arizona, not Patagonia, Argentina.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how close is that town to the actual ranch?
4 miles.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's right there.
so
We're
people
right,
can go
the
into
ranch sits
town
right off of Highway
and
82, which is a scenic highway. So it's easy, it's easy to get to, but it's also feels very like, you're in your own little world there. But yeah, we've got the little town of Patagonia, which is a nice. It's an old mining town, and a lot of folks there that live there now are, you get a lot of retirees, a lot of nature enthusiasts. But it's a nice little community. I think maybe 1,500 people. But there's little shops and nice little restaurants, and so a lot of our guests really enjoy that community. And when they come, they like to go in, and there's the Global Arts, which is a fabulous little place to shop. Yeah, so they love doing that, going to some of the restaurants or bars. The Wagon Wheel Bar, of course, is iconic. Old cowboy bar.
We'll talk about that one later.
Yeah. That's, I know.
Now, excuse me, one more question about the landscape.
Yes.
With all these different terrains kind of surrounding it, the ranch itself is in the desert part, right? And then do you take trail rides when you go to the top of the mountains? No?
No. The ranch itself is right along the stream.
Okay.
So the ranch proper sits. So the ranch proper, what I mean is like where the cottages and such are maybe I would say more in the kind of the grasslandy area, and then
Okay.
you drop down to the corrals, and right by the corrals is the riparian area. So as you're looking from the what we call the top where the cottages are, you look kind of down this hill, you see all the greenery along the stream, you see the
Yeah.
huge cottonwood trees, you see the
I saw that in the
birds that are
pictures.
nesting in
There has
those.
to be water there.
What's that?
I saw the greenery in the pictures. I was thinking to
Yes.
myself, there has to be water there.
It's right there. So we ride out from the corrals, and immediately we're either right in the stream, or crossing the stream right in the riparian, or we can go the other direction and ride up into the mountains. We can also ride up into cool little canyons. So right there from our central location, we can go all different directions into all different habitats. Like in one ride, you might go through grasslands, riparian, mountain ranges in one ride.
That's
It's
fantastic.
really
Yeah.
incredible.
And
And the
then
neat thing about the rides as such is it's very open. So once you get above the creek, you look out, and you just see mountain ranges off in the distance, or you see, scrubby desert off in the distance, or big grass meadows. So every ride you go on, depending on which direction, you're seeing these massive views.
that's so amazing. So that it's more bang for the buck to go there because
Big bang for the buck.
you know,
Big bang for the buck. People we'll take people on a ride going one direction, and then you could take them in the afternoon going the other direction, and they think they're on a totally different ride, right? Because
fantastic.
of the way the views open up. Mhm.
Okay. Now, one more question about that. When you go up into the mountain area, does it ever snow there?
Oh, it can.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, so to the north of us is the Santa Rita mountain range, and Mount Wrightson is actually at 9,000 feet. So you often in the wintertime will see snow up there. We don't ride up there. That's kind of a yeah. I think they used to back in the day, but it's a long ways. So you can see in the distance, you can see. So we actually can get snow at the ranch. Maybe once or twice a year, we'll get a little dusting. People are all excited. Oh, it's snowing in the desert, and then it's melted an
Right.
hour later.
Right.
So,
Kind of like Alabama.
oh, is that what happens in Alabama? Yeah.
We get a half
It's
an
not like
inch of
Montana.
dusting and then
Montana's
it's
where I'm
gone.
at now for the summertime. And in Montana, boy, it snows, and it sticks. It's there
Six.
for a while.
Yeah. So because you're in Montana now, talk a little bit
Yeah.
about seasonality and going back and forth and what y'all do with the ranch and
Seasonality. Yes. So we operate for guests 6 months a year, starting end of October until the end of April. And then from April until October during the summer months, those are the months we get the monsoons, which are heavy, heavy rainstorms with thunder, flash flooding, hot, in the 90s and hundreds. We close during that time. So we turn the horse herd out. We've got several thousand acres that they can graze on. So we give them a break. I keep a core group during the summer months down there that, my managers, the Lortas, and then a ranch hand, keep the, check on the horses, any remodeling, any fixing projects we need to do. And then when we're ready to open at the end of October, we've already brought the crew back, the housekeepers, the waitresses, the wranglers, they come back and get things ready. And then we open the end of October. That's our guest season. So it's so we close for the summertime, I come back to Montana, which is where we raised our son, and my husband has a business up here as well. So I come back here, have a couple horses. In fact, this year I'm bringing a couple of my young ones, having them brought up to finish training them. So that's kind of my gig now in the summers. Yeah.
That's cool. All right.
Mhm.
So, a question came up when you mentioned that running this ranch is a big time job, and you mentioned lots of people, lots of crew, and that's
Yeah.
like an HR department. That's making sure everybody's happy. How does all
Yeah.
that work, and who does all that?
Well, I have managers, interestingly. So George and Jenny Lorta, George started working for the ranch when my mother-in-law bought it, so 50 years ago. And
Wow.
then his wife, they were both the general managers for the last 10, 12 years. Uh, um, George just retired. So his son now is going to take over that management position. So the managers are kind of the ones that oversee, that we have the dining, right? So we have the food preparations. We have fabulous, fabulous cooks. They oversee that. They oversee the housekeeping staff. So our cottages are immaculate. They're all very Southwest decorated, that kind of Spanish influence. So they oversee the care of that. They oversee the care of the lawns and the groundskeeping. And then we have crews at each. Then the wranglers, of course, the corrals, which is what everybody comes for. So then we have our crew down there. So the managers kind of have their fingers in everything, making sure that everything's running properly. Plus, then the guest relations, they kind of oversee that as well to make sure the guests are happy. So it's a big job, and we're really, really fortunate not just to have, now since George is retired, his son Michael and wife Yesenia they've been working for us for a long time. They're kind of transitioning into that general manager role. But we're also really lucky to have really good staff that's been with us a number of years, that know what to do. They come back, after whatever they've done in the summer, they come back in the fall, they just jump right back into it. Such our wranglers, they know all the trails. I mean, we have over 200 miles of trails.
Wow.
So whenever we bring in new wranglers, there's also that transition period of, they have to learn the trails, help clear the trails. And So this year, the wranglers, we often have repeat staff. This year, all of the same ones from last year are coming back. So they'll be just jumping right into it. They know, we have a herd of 70 to 80 horses in the guest ring. They know all the horses. So that's going to be really nice. But yeah, so the management, they really rely on a good staff that not only knows their jobs but are excited to do their jobs.
Yeah.
And that makes, the guests see that. They say, wow, you can really tell your staff is happy. They enjoy being here. They enjoy working. And it kind of all translates into how they treat the guests and how our guests feel like it really feels like you're part of this bigger family. It's not like people are just doing their jobs. It's like people really
Right.
care about what they're doing and care about the ranch. And yeah,
Well, they
that's
say that, like do ranching is, you really have to love it. It's not a huge money making operation, so
it's
like
a
you
labor of
really
love.
have to love that. Yeah, labor of love. You have to love that
I
lifestyle.
mean, for myself, for the Lordas, I mean, Michael, who's taken over management, he grew up there, right? He
Right.
is living now in the house that he grew up in. And the place is deeply meaningful to him. I
Yes.
mean, in a way that you can't, you just don't come into that, right? It's like he was
Right.
raised there, and his heart and soul are really into what he does. He
Yeah.
takes it very, very, very seriously, and very just takes it to heart.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of similar, but on a different scale. But my dad, when I was young, we used to go out west for a month at a time,
Oh, wow.
He was a doctor, so I guess he could afford that. But we would get into an RV or a trailer, travel trailer, and we go out there and we go to all the national parks and we do the
Yeah.
riding and stuff like that. And I was just always fascinated by the Wranglers. And in fact, I named this business Wildflower Western Travel and Wildflower Western Lifestyle Live because one of the Wranglers one day, I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. I was on a horse and I couldn't bend down, but there were some wildflowers as we were going along, and he bent way over, slid down the side
Oh,
of the
he did?
and picked a wildflower and handed it to me, and I'll
Oh,
never forget that.
oh
It
my
it meant
goodness.
something to
And that's
me.
why you call it.
Yes,
Wow.
that's my origin story for the name.
That's a cool, isn't that neat how those memories just kind of, they're kind
Yeah,
of stay with you? I mean, yeah, our Wranglers, I mean, they're the ones that spend, really a lot of time with the guests because they take them out on rides. And they are all just really great, they have a great people persona, right? They're good with the horses. We don't bring people in that are going to be rough or not understanding kind of how the herd works. Everyone's really, they know the horses, they know their personalities, and then they get to know the guests, right? So especially since, we have a lot of guests that come back year after year after year. They come become good friends, like
right.
cry when, the guests cry when they leave. It's, oh, I
Yes,
miss you, Omar. So that's kind of neat. And that I find our staff often looking ahead at who's coming next week, and oh good, it's so and so, we remember them. And so the Wranglers are really a big part of our operations because the people come there to ride. They come there to immerse in that lifestyle. They come there to, and they really get to know the people that are working there. So we'll have 5 returning Wranglers this year. Kelly, fabulous gal from Texas who's been there a long time. She's just an excellent horsewoman, excellent at teaching, horsemanship and riding skills to the guests. A lot of people have learned how to ride at Circle Z Ranch because our horses are safe and we have a really good, program for teaching. And then so she's fabulous. We have Omar, who's kind of my year-round ranch hand, who takes, he's Hispanic. He loves taking guests out for a ride. He's been there for, gosh, I think 8 years now.
wow,
We have Colleen, who started last year, worked on some other ranches, came to us last year, and she's just a really sweet, fun gal. And Ronit, who has worked for us for a couple of years now, and she's also a packer during the summer. She also does rangeland grass management.
wow,
That's what she's doing this summer at another ranch. And then we have Joshua, who was new to us last year. And he, wonderful young man from the area. In fact, he told me a story that he grew up in Rio Rico, which is just across the mountains from us. And we have an area in the summertime where we keep some of the horses. And he says, I was driving, probably a young teen, was driving down this road and came around the corner and I saw these horses in the pasture and I saw, Rio, who's one of our horses, big blue-eyed bay, beautiful horse, very curious about people. He had his head over the fence and Joshua stopped and was petting him and he said, one of these days I'm going to work with you. And so here he is
oh,
now
great.
working at the ranch. He's fabulous. So those are kind of that's kind of the Wranglers that we have that are really a big part of our guest experience and guest life. Yeah.
So, are all those Wranglers pretty young, or is it all different ages of Wranglers?
All different ages. I mean, I think that Kelly and Omar are definitely the senior people. They've been in the horse industry for a long time. The other 3 are younger, like in their 20s, early 30s, and have always been, horses have always been in their lives and, worked in the industry for each of them. I think have had like 4 or 5 years, either packing, working at other guest ranches. Yeah.
Okay. I've kind of forgotten this, and we were going along to
Yes.
show some pictures. So let's stop for a second.
Oh, the pictures. Yeah, that kind of leads conversations too.
Yeah.
That's great.
So let me go back to what we talked about, the accommodations and everything, and then I also wanted you to talk about the history of the accommodations because
Oh
they're
yeah.
original from way back, right?
All of our cottages.
Can you
Yeah,
see
for
that?
cottages, do you want me to shush?
No, no, I'm trying to see if you can see that, and let me just kind of go through this and see if I can get it bigger.
I don't, I didn't, when I sent them, I didn't put them in a particular order. I apologize for that.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Now what I did is I tried to group them into
Oh,
like
good.
what I thought were categories, but I may have put
Perfect.
them in the
Yeah.
wrong categories.
You're
I
grouped.
don't know. All right, so now this is
Lena.
one of the bedrooms there, and it looks like it. I don't know if you can you see the picture?
No, it's not
No.
showing, hon.
Okay, so it's a bedroom with a like it's got like a white bedspread, and it looks like it's got
Yes. Yes. So all our cottages are the original adobes from the 20s. And we've all fixed them up and all that kind of stuff. But it's there. Oh, that's the dining room. It's interesting with the cottages, a lot of the furniture that people will see in the cottages, the bed headboards in the beds, the dressers, the end tables, that the Zinsmeisters built those.
really
We have some of the original furniture from the 20s that's still
oh
functional.
that's
So,
fantastic.
yeah, so but the cottages are all adobe, so they keep very cool. Of course, they've all been modernized with air conditioning and heat, all that kind of stuff. The white bedspreads, that's what they had back in the 20s. And my mother-in-law, that's what she remembered when she came. So she
Yeah,
always insisted that we keep the white chenille bedspreads, which I've continued because I think they look beautiful. But the
they
rooms,
are. They are.
they're lovely. The rooms are all, we went through all of them over the last 10 years and remodeled, fixed up the bathroom. So we have all very colorful Southwest tiles, a lot of them like picked up in Mexico. So the rooms are all really, really nicely appointed, comfy beds, great pillows. People often comment on how, they're just clean, they're bright. So we
Right.
have different styles, different types of accommodations. We have just kind of the standard rooms, standard king rooms, and then we also have cottages. We have two-bedroom cottages and a couple 3-bedroom cottages. Like families like to stay in those. Friends traveling together on a group thing, and then we have some shared rooms where each have a king size room, and then a shared bathroom. So also girlfriends, families
Okay.
traveling together like to use those. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then so the picture of the dining room that you had up, yes. So the dining room, the lodge area, that's where we had the dining, the kitchen. That was interesting. That was a Zinsmeister's home originally, and they had to convert it into the lodge when the lodge burned down in the late 40s. They had like 45 days to convert their house into the lodge. So actually,
Oops.
what you see here is really a remodeled and expanded version. It used to the dining room had actually been their back screened and board, but it had been converted into a dining room. It was small, it was tight in there. So during the COVID year that we actually took off, a year and a half, we took advantage of that time and we expanded the dining room, and opened up the ceilings a bit just to make it more roomy, more airy. And it's like you see, there's wonderful color in there. It's some of the
Yeah. Nice.
original rugs on the wall, some original woven baskets, paintings. Yeah,
So with
beautiful,
dinner,
beautiful.
you normally have kind of like a community culinary style
Mm.
where everybody's eating in the same room.
Yeah, we all eat in the dining room. There's also a side dining room, so we have kind of two. They're connected, but like sometimes like if we have over like a lot of people there, we'll be using that second dining room. But yeah, people sit together, they dine together. We have separate tables, but people, that's kind of how they get to know each other. And then
Yeah.
it is a buffet style. So people come up to the buffet and we serve them there. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Let's see what the next one is here. That looks like a big den.
That's the living room. So that's just off the dining room. So when you first walk into the lodge, you first have a big screened-in porch. I don't think I got a picture of that in there. Lovely little area for people to sit and visit after rides. And then this is the living room. So this is like the kind of the gathering place in the morning before breakfast. You see a nice fireplace there. People kind of if they come down early for coffee, they kind of sit in there and visit
Okay.
until the breakfast is ready. Yeah.
Okay. All
Great
right.
little fireplace. This is the living room of one of our cottages. Actually, this is we did do a remodel on this, but you see the beautiful, colorful rugs in there.
Oh, yeah.
My husband's grandparents who had brought in his mother to the ranch. That's where they always stayed, after Lucia bought the ranch. And she actually, Mrs. Smith, went to Mexico and bought these rugs and some other decor that's still in there. They're
Wow.
beautiful, aren't they? But
That's really good.
this is a living room area of the two-bedroom cottage. So
Okay.
there's two separate bedrooms with baths and this beautiful open living room space.
So bright.
Mhm.
I love it.
Bright. Everything's bright. We have color.
Yeah.
This is the courtyard of Casa Rosa. Casa Rosa is a like an 8 bedroom, kind of a U-shaped cottage. And each bedroom door leads out into this
Patio.
little courtyard
Yeah.
area.
Perfect.
So a nice little place for people to sit and visit.
Community time out there. That'd be great.
Yeah, at the choose, and then there's another little area outside of that that has kind of a little deck. People want to sit out there and watch the birds and stuff.
Okay.
This is one about the outside of one of the cottages, so you can see that it's all that kind of that same color scheme on the outside. You see the what we call this circlesy turquoise color, and then the
Yeah.
adobe, the
I
adobe
noticed that
colors.
color everywhere, and it's actually on your
Yeah,
website too. So,
yeah,
what
yeah. It's
about
kind of the outside, like the southwest that you
okay?
use on that. You see it a lot on the outsides, yeah.
Do
And then
y'all
of course,
sell
we really
turquoise
do.
jewelry
We love
there?
we what's that?
Do you sell turquoise jewelry there?
We do have a little gift shop.
Need to come.
We have a little gift closet, maybe you could call it, but we, over the years, we had different people that put stuff in, that sell stuff there, plus what we get from different purveyors. We had a lady last year that started bringing some of her jewelry to sell in the gift shop, and then we have a woman that comes every Tuesday, Annette, and she has what's called Spirited Cowgirl. It's She's got a website,
Okay.
fabulous stuff, but she goes and she'll bring, oh gosh, all of the different jewelry stuff, vintage stuff she's found, different clothing, hats, scarves. Gus absolutely love her stuff. So we have, so she sets up Tuesdays, and people after the ride can go in there and do a little shopping.
Sounds like another
Oh
interview to
yes,
me.
yeah, lots of turquoise.
Okay.
Ugh.
All right. Let's see. This looks
Well,
like
this is
maybe
a
a bar.
canteen. This is what we call a cantina, because
Cantina.
we're in the
Okay.
Southwest. So this is a cantina. It's another gathering place. It's where we have our evening cocktail hours, BYOB cocktail hours. And people can, they have little cubbies. You can kind of see little cubbies up there behind the bar where they bring, if they have a bottle of something they want to put in there. We have it like a refrigerated area. If they have a bottle of wine or beer, they can put in, and then that's where we gather after, in the evenings before dinner. People tell stories there. We also have musicians that come in once a week and play for the guests in there. So the canteen is like a big deal. There's a big patio outside, so when the weather's good, people like to sit out there and watch the sunsets.
Okay.
It's
So what you're
lovely.
saying is, if I ever get to come out there, I can maybe
Yeah.
teach line dancing in this place.
Oh, yeah. Oh, line dancing. Yeah. We don't have it like regularly, but we do have it. So Kelly, our wonderful wrangler, it loves dancing. And so we'll do like some little line. If people are interested, we'll do line dance, and we do it in there, kind of move the furniture aside. So that's really fun. I'm not coordinated enough I do it for about 5 minutes and I'm like, lost. But
I can help with
you
that.
do you can have that. Yeah. Well, we have a guest that comes, her and her husband, and they're both way into, I mean, she competes and like this line dancing anyway. Does it competitively. And so when she teaches it, she's really good, like specific
Yeah.
instructor. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my life most every day.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So
Envious.
here's another picture of the outside.
That's the front of Casa Rosa, and what we call it Casa Rosa. You see the roses that climb up over the arch there as you lead into
Right.
the courtyard of it.
Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, we're going back to the start there. So let me put this one down, and um, this is the I guess the crane. I don't know what kind of bird that is. Can you see that? There was like a
I think you're talking about a heron.
heron. Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
see, he's
so
not popped up
that's
yet.
that's just a representative
He's
picture
a
of the
little slow.
bird.
I mean, that's just an example. You see the
Yeah,
stream in the photo. Maybe we'll
and
get
the
it. Maybe not. There. Oh no, those are horses.
horses. Yeah,
Those are horses. I think that's a photo of them coming in early in the morning. So coming in meaning that they have a big night pasture. It's about, I don't know, 700 to 1,000 acres. In the mornings when it's time for them to come in for riding, we just basically they go out there with the truck, throw hay in the day pasture, honk the horn, and open the gates, and the horses come running in.
I'm
So
running.
that's a picture of them.
I was about to ask you if they wanted to come in, but I guess they
They
do.
do. Well, there's not, during the wintertime out in the night pasture, there's not a lot to graze
Ah,
on, unfortunately.
okay,
In the desert, yeah. So no, they get to know the routine. They
right.
they they know, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see what's
I love
next here.
that picture.
And that looks like someone sitting
Yeah.
on a horse with the
Yeah,
mountain.
that's one of our rides. That's what we call Tom's Trail. So this is Maiko, my one of my managers, foreman. And you kind of see the Patagonia mountain range in the black backdrop with those grasslands underneath it that I was kind of
Right.
talking about. That's a ride. It's part of Tom's Trail, which is a kind of one of our longer rides. It kind of takes you up through the desert scrub and up into the grasslands that have the jutting mountain ranges shooting out of it. Yeah. That's a
And
really good example of that, yeah.
that was named for someone named Tom.
I don't know. It's been Tom's for, like, for a long, like, century.
Okay. All right. And speaking of
I'm
names,
sure there's been stories about, yeah, the guy named
yeah.
Tom Guest died here on the trail or something, but that's, yeah,
Okay.
probably just a story.
Speaking of names,
Yes,
what's the origin of the Circle Z? Do you know?
Zinsmeister.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
circle
they just said
Z.
we'll put a Z and put a circle around it, and there we go. All right.
That's
Let's see.
branding. That
And
is also
that's
our brand, the circle with the
right.
Z. Mhm.
Okay. Let's see what this one is.
Oh, I'm so
Oh,
glad I got the pictures. This is fun.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Here's some. I called this category horses. So that's just riding along the creek, I guess, having a stop there.
It's not showing yet.
Okay. Maybe it
Seems
has
like it takes a
to
couple
load.
minutes, huh?
And I think it has to load for you. Yes, it's like 3 or 4 people along the creek. One person's off the horse.
Oh, that's a photo shoot we had done. So that was a few years ago. That's myself and Jenny Lorta and Alice. Alice Ryan was a wrangler, worked for us for years. She retired, and then Maddie's the one standing on the ground. But that was a photo shoot of the
Okay.
horses in the stream. Uh-huh.
All right. And y'all, and side note on that, y'all have to have some really good photography, videography to be able to market and sell your place. So, talk a little bit about that and how you find the people that come out to do that and how that works.
Well, interestingly, because it can get awfully expensive to
Hmm.
just have someone, come in and do a photo shoot. And we that happens. Um, I started doing a lot of the photography a few years back because I was like, because you're out experiencing, I'm out on a lot of the rides with guests. So I started I self-taught just for some photography. So I've done a lot of the photos over the years, but occasionally I bring people in, they'll come in and do, shoots like for Arizona, also tourism or Arizona highways, and then they'll give me photos, right?
Okay.
So a lot of the like real like hero photos I've gotten from them. So there's different ways, but I've had, folks that like come out and do magazine shoots, and but they'll always give some of those more professional photos.
Right.
So, but
Okay.
yeah, it definitely is it's a time consuming
Yeah.
prospect, but especially like for social media, you'll grab pictures and put them up. And sometimes guests often take really great pictures.
Right.
I've had guests that are really good photographers, and then they'll send me like, oh, here's some great shots I got. So yeah,
That's
that's
fantastic.
how that happens.
Okay. And looks like this is
Mhm.
maybe heading and healing.
Yeah, so we do have once a week we have a cookout ride, and well, we have two cookout rides during the week. One of those rides goes over to our Bar Z property, which is another kind of extension of the ranch, and we have a nice barbecue lunch, and then we do a roping demonstration with Mike. This is Maiko, and then a gentleman from years back. Bo, who's a really, really good roper. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see. Oh, now I love this one.
Mm,
This is
yeah.
so beautiful. So, like, you see the grass, but then you see the mountains in the background with the horses
This is
there.
one that I did a few years back. I took the Wranglers out kind of late afternoon. We did a photo shoot, and so yes, so you see the grasslands. You see the lovely Jenny Lorta, and I think that's Alice, George, Maddie. Anyways, and then in the backdrop, that's Mount Wrightson, way, way up to off to the north. That's a peak that goes up to 9,000 feet. Um, and then you see the peak to the left there, which is Mount Hopkins. And I don't think in this photo you can't see Circle Z, what we call Circle Z Mountain, which is kind of a butte that's kind of our sentinel. You know, it's like you're out on the trails. This is Circle Z Mountain. You kind of always know where the ranch is. So
Okay.
anyway, so yeah, that's a really beautiful shot. And some of those
I
beautiful
love that.
golden grasses.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And that makes you a really good photographer.
Yeah, it was a lucky shot. And
So
this
this
is
looks
the
like the herd.
herd. They're running. So Scott Baxter, who's a rather famous Arizona photographer, did this picture, and so that's the herd running out to their in the evening. So they run out from the day pasture out to the night pasture. This is a really cool time of day. A lot of guests like to come and they stay after the ride to watch the herd run out.
That was my next
So,
question is, do they go out
yeah.
to watch? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a really neat photo because it's got several of our ranch bred horses in it. We do breed our own. We also buy horses. But these are, I think there's Weta, which is that kind of Carmelo, Ginger, who's the buckskin there, and then uh, uh, um, JC and Martina. Martina is another ranch bred horse. So some mares in there too. We have mares. Some
Awesome.
people are like, "What did you call out the mares?" It's like, no, the mares are wonderful. They
Yeah,
work hard.
they really do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I actually always had geldings. I prefer
Yeah.
geldings, but I do know people, and of course,
Mm.
my first pony was a mare. So.
Oh, mares, I mean, they could be a little they're a little well, I'm not gonna say different. I mean, they're a horse, but they're a little more they ask a little more of you, I think. You
Yeah.
know, they're like a little bit, "Are you sure about that?" You know? "Sure you know what you're doing?" They'll push you a little more, but, that's what they are out in the wild, they're kind of the analyzers and yeah,
True.
I love them. Yeah, the buckskin is a mare that I ride, and she's really
Beautiful.
lovely. She's a
Yeah.
lovely horse, yeah.
Now you did say a little while ago, I think you did that you had about 70 to 80 head of horses. Is that right?
That are for guest horses, and
Okay.
then we have, I think the count's right at 70, 75 right now for guest horses. So those are the ones that are trained that we can use. Anywhere from horses that are better for beginners, horses that are better for advanced people, horses kind of in the middle for more intermediate riders. And then there's several in the herd that are young horses that we're training, some in the herd that are just wrangler horses because they just need a little more, just someone with a little more skill and knowledge. So those are horses that help lead the rides. And then in here we have a big retirement pasture that the horses go to retire when they just can't handle the terrain anymore. It's a rugged terrain. It's not it's not an easy terrain. But in our herd right now we have, I think, maybe three horses that are really retired, but they've been in the herd so long that we just keep them. We don't want them to put them out in another space, with other horses. So
Okay.
anyways.
And then also just talk a little bit about like when the guests come, how the horse is selected for them, how they're matched.
Yeah, so it's Maiko does that selection. It's based on their riding experience, their size, their gender, if you will. Because we do have, with saddle fit and everything. So we do have horses that are more men's horses because they're maybe a little bigger saddle fits them, thus a little bigger male. And then horses more for women. So our beginner horses, are just horses that are just, a little more, I mean, they're all really really well trained, pretty, quarter horses tend to be pretty docile, kind of want to please, and kind of even keel. So it just depends on the kind of riders we have. But when we have beginners, we have horses for them. And then we have horses for people that are a little more advanced. We always do, like I was talking earlier, we have lessons for guests. So if people are really uncertain, maybe they've never been on horses, we have an orientation that takes them to our big covered arena. So specific instruction on turn left, turn right, stop. So they get to practice in there before they go out on the trail ride. So that's really great. And then during the week, we offer 2 lessons where guests go like a little earlier. So the beginners or maybe an intermediate that like, oh, I've ridden a lot, but I've never cantered. The beginners like, I want to try cantering. So they have this wonderful arena with the wrangler right there, giving them instruction, and it's kind of a safe place for them to practice before they actually go out on the trail to do those things. So yeah, choosing the horses is kind of based on what we think what you say your experience level, and kind of what we see that as fitting in with the horses. We know our horses really well. They live there year round. A lot of them are bred there. So kind of know what horse is going to do good with what kind of person. And you have the different personalities too. Some
Right.
horses are a little more sensitive to, someone who might be, you know,
Yeah.
more up. So yeah, that's
So once someone gets a good fit with a horse, can they,
yeah.
if that horse is still at the ranch, can they get that same horse the next time they come?
People request, yes, the same horse. We have
Okay.
many horses that like get, very popular. So yeah. But yeah, we rotate horses because, if they work a week, so if they have one week where they've done a lot of riding, more loping rides, then we'll give them the next week off. Now, some of the younger ones can handle maybe 2 weeks in a row, but definitely it's like some of our older horses, we get them a little more time off just to give them a chance to kind of, like we have to reset after working out really hard. So,
And are
mhm.
the rides daily?
Yeah.
Daily?
Oh, yeah. Morning and afternoon. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have morning and afternoon rides. We have we have an all day ride where we pack sack lunches for the people that want to do it, and they go way out and have sack lunch out. We have 2 cookout rides during the week where we actually ride out. And we're in small groups, so 5 to 6 people max in a
Okay.
group of people, and we send all of these groups in different directions to then converge like at our cookout site.
Right.
So then all day the cookout rides are basically all day, but you stop for a nice lunch and have kind of a big break. And then we have another ride that we call the Valley Ride, which is our trailer ride to the San Rafael Valley, which is absolutely beautiful high plains grasslands that is surrounded by mountains. So it's a big flat area you can kind of see forever. A lot of movies. Oklahoma was filmed up there. Tom Horn, some other movies are filmed up there. So we take the horses in the trailer and the guests. We drive them too. We don't put the guests in the trailer.
I've done
uh,
that.
yeah, so we trailer, and then we ride up into this grasslands and spend the morning up there. So we do a variety of different things. Trust me, people get their riding in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you did mention the movie, so we'll just do a side here before we go back to these
Yes.
pictures. Talk a little bit about the movies that maybe were filmed on or near Circle Z.
Yeah, so Oklahoma was filmed up in the San Rafael Valley. The series Young Guns, there was a year that they filmed a lot of that at the ranch. Actually, Micah was a young boy then, really good rider, and he was kind of an extra. 'Cause
Oh,
I think
cool.
one of the kids that was this movie, the star, didn't really know how to ride.
He's a movie star.
So young, um, uh, Tom Horn was filmed in that area, and then the film from the 50s. It's very, very good with Spencer Tracy. It was filmed on the ranch called there
What,
what
what,
went my mind. Broken Arrow.
Broken
Broken
Arrow?
Arrow.
Was
Fabby,
there
really good movie.
was there
And it
one
was
that was
usually
like red something, like Red River or something?
no, not at
No?
the ranch.
Okay. Okay.
Not that I know of. Yeah, Broken Arrow is probably or Broken Lance. Broken Lance. I'm sorry. lance, not arrow, broken lance. And that shows a lot of that. So that was in the 50s. So that was well before the dam was put in for Patagonia Lake. So the whole riparian area just looks different, right? It's just more
Okay,
open. Yeah. But you see a lot of the circles, you see a lot of the canyons we ride in, then Circle Z Mountain,
that's
and
cool.
mhm.
Yeah. So, do you have people that are? I see on Facebook these groups that are like Western movie enthusiasts. Do they come out there to see where these movies are filmed?
No, I haven't
Okay.
done anything like that. Mhm.
Okay. That's
Well, actually, a few years ago, there was a tour, a little tour that came through. I worked with a woman. She wanted to set up. They were going around to different places, and they came to the ranch, yeah, to
okay.
just look and yeah.
All right. Let's see what else we got here.
But it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I
Mm.
think I'll capitalize on that.
This
um,
is Jenny Lorta and I. This is another Scott Baxter photo that he was there taking photos for the centennial, the DRA's Dude Rancher Association centennial book, which we are in. So that's celebrating all of the 100-year ranches,
yeah,
which I think there's 23 of us. Anyways, this is one of Scott's photos. So this is riding along what we call the old railroad bed. So back up until about from the late 1800s to about 1926, there was a railroad that went through the ranch right near the stream. And it disbanded, I think, the year after the ranch opened, but it pulled up all the ties. And so we have this kind of railroad bed. As you see, it's just this nice little
yeah.
flat area. It's kind of the corridor to a lot of our other trails. Really nice. It's a nice place to lope along because it's, smooth and beautiful. It's kind of lined with all these trees because you're right by the riparian area.
It's
So
beautiful. Yeah,
yeah.
so that book you mentioned, I actually, as soon as I saw it, I ordered it. I've got it, and I should have
Oh,
brought it.
you do.
Yeah,
You got the book.
I held it up when I was talking to Bryce Albright.
Yay. So we
um,
are the first ranch alphabetically.
yes,
So we
yeah.
were the first.
Um, full transparency, I'm going through that list, and I'm calling people and saying I would like to interview you and get all
Good.
this done for 2026, and after that, I'll go to the other ranches and try to interview
Good.
them. But
Yeah, well, that's a good guide. Yeah, I
yeah,
hope they're all being responsive.
yes. Well, a lot of them are getting busy now, so that may be a bit of a
For
challenge.
the
But
summer,
I'm up to
right?
the challenge.
We have opposite seasons in the ranches north, so they
Right.
operate in summer, we in winter.
I'm going to have a little strategy about that. So contact those,
Yeah,
vice versa.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, once you get busy, you're busy.
yeah.
It's like I
So,
don't have
so
time.
because we started talking about the DRA just a little bit,
Yeah.
y'all are members, and then
Yes.
they had their centennial or meeting or whatever convention in
Yes.
January. Was that right?
Yes. In
Did y'all
Billings.
go to that?
I wasn't able to go this year.
Oh
There were
man,
some I know there's some big things going on that I needed to be at the ranch for. But I've been to many over the years. With our centennial, we kind of celebrated ourselves throughout the season.
right,
Shoot, I didn't put a picture up of this, but one of the big things that my family did was we commissioned a statue of El Sultan, who was the original stallion at the ranch. So we have a bronze statue of him. And then through the year, we did little, celebratory little parties, did special pictures of people. And then the last week was kind of our VIP week, where we had a lot of return guests, that'd been coming for a long time, came for the week. We did little parties each evening, 20s party and a white linen party. Anyway, then we culminated with a big celebration where we had like 350 people for a big
wow,
party. It was fun. I mean, we celebrated, we had great food and we had folklorico dancers from Mexico that came, the all colorful outfits and beautiful choreographed dancing. Then we had a band play so people got to dance. It was a
cool.
beautiful
Yeah,
evening.
that's
Yeah.
great.
So that was kind of our
Did
year.
y'all having to film any of that? Because that'd be great to see.
Yeah, so so my marketing people, yes, Noodle, came and did photos. In fact, this week we're gonna put together kind of a video feed that I can send out. So also what I did that evening, well, I did leading up to that evening was like put together a beautiful slideshow with my son and I narrating, kind of wrapping up the 100 years and the meaning of the Circlesy Ranch with some really cool slides going back historically. So we're going to get that kind of put together in a
Yeah.
package. But
Yeah,
yes, I was so glad that I hired them to do the photography and videos because there's no way I would have had the
right. You can't do
bandwidth.
it all.
No,
Right.
have no bandwidth for that.
Yeah. So here's another one just riding the
Yeah, that's
tree.
the stream. That's loping in the stream. That's a big, we call those splash downs. That's also a Scott Baxter photo with Jenny and I. Isn't it beautiful with the light on the water? And it's a shallow stream, so those areas where we're loping in, it's sandy, so we're not loping through rocks. We're really very, very careful about that
Right.
sort of thing.
Yeah, as a little girl, I used to ride my pony, not across the stream, but down the stream, just
That's
like,
what we're doing. We're going down the stream.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
fun.
fun.
We used to go
It re-
swimming.
it's it's fun.
Oh, now is that you? Can you
That's
see?
me.
That's a
And
that's
that's
a
my
beautiful.
son behind. That's my son behind. So yeah. So that Carmelo horse, that's a horse I actually just retired her. I rode her for years. She was trained at the ranch and wonderful mare, but she's done her time.
That's a beautiful picture. I love that.
Oh,
And is
this
this
is a historic.
is this
Cute
the
with the
okay? I
kids.
put in the wrong one. I
That's
thought it might
okay.
be.
But that no, that's I think from the 70s. I have no
Yeah,
idea who those kids, but I love it.
we'll go to
Love it.
Housework in just a minute.
Them
Let's see if that's the one.
hugging their
Yeah,
It's
that's
just a photo of out on the one of the rides. You see the mountains. There's so many different layers down there. It's just
now.
fabulous. I think that's a women's group. I
Yeah, I
think
was about
that's
to
a
say,
women's
like,
group.
talk a little bit about the groups. Like, is it mostly families? What about solo travelers? What about women? Are there men's groups?
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah, I mean, we get families, families over the holidays, but sometimes we get the multi-generational that like, oh, we want to come and celebrate grandma's birthday. And um but we also have a lot of couples that come. We have a lot of solos. Probably if I were to say, yeah, I mean, the majority tend to be women, but we get men, but I would say that on an average, it's more women than men. And we do get kids, but more on the holidays. In the wintertime, the kids are in school, so it's mostly adults. Yeah, of
Okay.
all ages. We get all ages.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, who was like the youngest guest and the oldest guest?
Oh, this season?
Yeah, ever been there? Maybe you don't know that, but
Oh,
like,
I mean, like this year we have a wonderful a guest. She's been coming for a long time, and she has two kids now. So she's fabulous. She's an anesthesiologist, but she has two children now. One is just, I mean, 1 years old, and one is Lilo is three or four. She brings her nanny, and she goes riding. So those kids were here there, and everybody loves them. I mean, they're adorable. And then some of the older guests. I mean, we have a guest from Louisville she's 91 years old now, and she
wow.
still rides. She comes every year. So those are, and we've had others. We had a woman, Lucille, who was she was a cowgirl. She was in her, I think, mid 80s when she started coming to the ranch. She couldn't see very well, so she'd come and spend like 3 months. She'd ride every day, but then she'd have someone, we'd make the meals and everything. So,
Yeah.
so she was great.
It'd be
She couldn't
so
see very well, but she knew the
ultra
trails. I
cool.
don't know how she did that.
Yeah, it'd be ultra cool if
So
you had somebody who was 100 on your 100th year
wouldn't
anniversary.
that be something? But our minimum age for kids for riding is 6. They have to be
Okay.
6 years old to ride.
Okay, good to know.
That's insurance. Yes.
Yeah. Hmm. Let's see, we did that one. All right.
Yeah, they need to kind of be able to listen and follow direction. And, oftentimes the young ones like that are on a lead line, just kind of depending on their size and personality.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about activities because I made this be the activity category. This is more like just a cookout, and it may be like part of a ride, or it may be.
Yeah, this is probably one of our cookout rides.
So what other kind of activities do you have there that people can engage in?
Yes, so we have the Wednesday. Well, we have a nature walk one day a week where a local naturalist comes in and takes the guests. This is before the morning ride, so all of our activities are outside of the riding time, so people don't have to make a choice.
Oh,
So
that's
a
good.
naturalist that comes locally and takes the guests on a little nature walk down by the stream. They get to learn about the birds and the geography and the area. We have a wonderful woman that comes and does a craft afternoon, a horseshoe decorating. She's fabulous. And she comes down and gets used horseshoes, and then she has all these yarns and trinkets, and so people, if they choose to, they get to create this wonderful keepsake that they
Yeah.
take home with them. We have a woman that comes and does yoga 1 day a week, kind of an after ride, kind of stretching yoga. We have a campfire night
Okay.
where we have one of our wranglers, actually Kelly kind of does everything. She's a wonderful musician and just a fun personality. So we have campfire with her and playing music, and guests love that. And then we have an evening where we have these professional singers, Josh and Shannon, that come and sing, country western, and they're really great. They're really great. They're great at taking, if guests have requests for different songs, so
Oh,
that's fun. And then the cookout rides, yeah.
so okay. Now, also, do you have? I never even thought about this. Do y'all have a pool there, or any kind of
Oh,
like?
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Heated pool. Yes, we have a heated pool. We have tennis courts, pickleball lines painted on the tennis courts. We have big lawn areas. So, a lot of times when kids are there, they'll be playing frisbee or just running around playing soccer. We have a game room that has a pool table and foosball table, and outside under a little canopy, there's a little ping pong. So we do have that. Lots of books. We have a wonderful library in the lodge. It has lots of books, just in the area, different novels about the area, rock art, all that kind of stuff. We do have petroglyphs on the property too. So we have
Oh,
rides that
cool.
go to the petroglyphs, so people can experience and learn about that.
Yeah. My son and I drove out west last spring. I think I told you about that. And we went to
Yeah.
11 different national parks in like maybe 12 days. I mean, we just went,
Yeah,
went, went.
that's a
One of the
lot.
places, and it was a blur, so I'm not really sure where this was, but there were petroglyphs on all the rocks. And the more I stood there looking at this pile of rocks, the
Yeah,
more they popped out, and you could, there's
it's
one,
amazing.
there's one, there's one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really neat.
Yeah. So yeah, lot of you see a lot in Utah and Arizona also. The
Yeah.
ones we have are very, very old, probably from the Hohokam time, probably some from the Subaipuri, which are the predecessors to the Tohono O'odham tribe. But yeah, it's interesting. I have an archaeologist, a good friend, who has made some major discoveries in that area on Coronado, who the Spanish conquistador. Anyway, she's been to the ranch, and we've got on our rides, and talked about the petroglyphs and kind of the area, the history there. So it's not just the ranching part of it, but then there's a whole other history of the indigenous, you know, peoples that spent a lot of that lived there in
Right.
that area. It's just also interesting. Sometimes she'll come and do talks too at the ranch. So I try to set up different fun guest speakers every once in a while, just to come. And a guy brought, with Fish and Wildlife. He's an endangered species expert, and he brought some snakes and a
Oh boy,
Gila monster. Did a
snakes
little
are not
talk.
my
So
thing.
we try to do little things like that.
All right, so I think this other one is, well, that's a picture of just
Just
um
beautiful picture, isn't it? That's Maiko. So that's the cowboy hat.
yeah,
That's Maiko, my manager. At the
and
Corrals, great horseman. And then Jordan, she doesn't work for us any longer. She went off and got married. So
then,
I know we all love Jordan.
and then
That's a cookout. That's our chuck wagon
yeah,
site. So you
that's
can see
cool.
the trees. This is in the wintertime, so the cottonwoods have lost their leaves. But in the spring and the fall, they all have leaves on them. The spring, they're very green because, they just pop out from after a winter's rest. In the fall, we do get the fall colors. So we get beautiful goldens and reds from the sycamores, gold from oh boy, my power. I'm about to lose power here.
You
I
want to
might
grab
have a
a
couple
cord?
more minutes. I thought I was plugged in.
Yeah, if you want to grab a cord, you can.
Hang on a sec.
Is there one
Yeah.
there? Yeah, just
Yep.
run one.
I have it plugged in. I'm surprised it's not.
Well, we've been talking a while.
I know. I don't know why it's not charging.
Yeah. So that chuck wagon that's right there for
There we
that
go.
cookout thing. Good deal. That chuck wagon that's there. That reminds me, in Alabama and also up in at what's her name, the famous singer, Loretta Lynn. Up
Loretta Lynn,
Yeah, up at
yes.
her ranch, they also have chuck wagon races. But my friend had founded chuck wagon races here in Alabama. Now, he has passed now, but I used to go to that event every year, and you'd see all these different chuck wagon type things like that. Some big, some little, and they do these races around in a circle, and it was really dangerous.
Oh,
I thought, but they have teams that get on there, and then they have the outrider that goes around, and they have certain rules
oh
about
wow.
who crosses the finish
Yeah,
line first.
we don't do that. It sounds fun. No, the chuck
Yeah,
wagon just is stationary. It stays there. It's just kind of like
yeah,
nice backdrop.
that looks.
A lot of people like having their photos taken in front of it because
Yeah,
it's got you can kind of see it's got Circle Z on the side of it.
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so we'll do these historic ones, and then a few more questions, and because we've gone like an hour and 15
I
minutes, but
know.
I love it.
I might lose power here, so I'm just saying I don't know why. Hey,
Okay,
oh, I see. I see. I got the problem.
okay, we're solving problems here, folks. Be patient with us. Yeah, I just popped up one of the historic photos.
Okay.
Can you see
Yay.
that one? It's
Not
a
yet.
it's a guy standing kind of like with his head like this, and the horse is right by his head.
Oh, that is El Sultan, the Carthusian stallion that was the original stallion at Circle Z Ranch. He's got an interesting story. I think there's another picture of El Sultan rearing up. That was his trainer, Sam Foster,
Okay,
back in the 30s. Uh-huh. I like that picture. I think there should be another cool picture of El Sultan. Yeah, El Sultan was the first Carthusian stallion in the United States.
wow.
If people know their horses, and he came by way of Cuba and New York City and ended up Circle Z Ranch because of a guest of ours back in the 30s. Thought he'd be a really good stallion and fit for the ranch. And he was just beautiful, big horse, big
It
17
looks
hand, very
tall. Yeah,
docile, beautiful,
wow.
beautiful horse.
That's neat. That's what you made the statue from his.
Yes, and it is of him. The statue is, gosh, I wish I would have put a picture in there. Statue is him bowing, which is another kind of iconic picture we have with Mrs. Zinsmeister on him, and he's bowing, and so that's what we did the statue of.
Oh,
So
okay,
this is him rearing up. Yeah, look at that,
okay.
that form. He's just really something else.
Yes, that's beautiful. Now these are you said from the 30s, these pictures?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the original lodge. You see people kind of coming, being greeted. That's at the original lodge before it got burned down. That's now our rec room, that
Okay.
area.
And
That's
this
out. That's up on the base of Circle Z Mountain. That's a group of riders in the 30s. You see Mr. and Mrs. Insmeister, and then you see the Patagonia mountain range. That's really kind of the same view that we have to this day,
wow.
amazingly. There's more cacti, mesquite up in the grasslands. Unfortunately, the cattle kind of spread some of that stuff, during that period of time. So you see much more cacti that's invaded some of the grassland areas. But you can see, you can see the stream. So see all of that. So it's Mr. and Mrs. Zinsmeister, and then you see the kind of the darkened area. That's the cottonwood trees. That's the stream.
Okay.
When you get up high, you always know where the stream is because you see
That's
either a
right.
line of the green or the gray when the leaves fall off. This is just a cool. I think they're like this is one of the earliest photos probably I have, and I think they're like rooster fights or something. I I don't know. I don't know anything about that, but I just think that's a cool picture.
So do you think that's the main
That's
entrance?
the that's the entrance to the trail going down to the corrals. So
Okay.
yeah. All
Now
right.
now
Yeah.
there's a like an arched entrance somewhere. Is that
That's at the front.
the front? Okay.
Yeah, that's the gate. They come through this when the guests arrive, they come through this beautiful metal arched, which was the original
It's the
archway.
original. That was my
hmm
question. So,
Well, based on the original. The original actually got given to the War Department for the war effort
really?
during World War One. And
See,
we
there's
ended up
stories
finding
everywhere.
and had it rebuilt. What's that?
And there's stories everywhere we
I
turn.
know. I know. We sure
So
do.
you had it, did you say you had it found and
We had
rebuilt
it
or
rebuilt. We had it refoundered.
okay.
back in I think in the 90s, maybe. Yeah. Our manager, Jerry Holmes, had it, found the pictures and said, we need to
Let's
have
do
this
it.
back. So we
Yes.
did.
Awesome. Good
Sorry, I
choice.
don't have a picture of that. It just shows, the kind of the ranching history. You see Circle Z, that's Circle Z Mountain in the backdrop. We still do run cattle on the ranch. So we're working ranch as well.
Okay.
But this is this is cool. I think this is Carl and Lee Zinsmeister out on a ride.
Yeah, that's cool.
A lot of these old photos I digitized, they're not labeled, so a lot of them I'm kind of making guesses at. But this
Yeah.
is up on one of our trails called Skyline Trail. You still have that same view. Isn't that
Wow.
something?
That's amazing.
But see how it just opens up. And I don't know. I think this little kid is cute. That's why I put it in there. You're adorable. Children have always, they've always been a part of the ranch, whether they're raised there or come there as guests and
And they
learn
love
how to ride,
horses too.
build
So
their confidence. What's that?
they love horses.
They love horses.
Yeah.
The little boy's adorable.
That's back to the beginning there. All right. So have we done everything there? Yeah, I think we did. Yeah. So I guess just like we talked about your horse program, we talked about the Hollywood connection with the movies and all that kind of stuff. We talked about what you can do there. So just kind of tell us, like a sum up of what's the benefit to someone coming out to Circle Z Ranch? What does it do for their soul?
It's kind of like a step into time, where you can come and experience something that you may not experience elsewhere. I mean, it's the horseback riding, it's the camaraderie, it's that people aren't on the electronics. You're communing with other people. The social aspect's really important. I mean, people come there, and not only do they learn about nature, but they immerse themselves into that open space, that beautiful landscape, just what it can do for the soul when you maybe never really experienced that before, but also really. People tend to take time to be in real conversations with other people.
Hmm.
You're sitting around the fire, sitting around the dining room table, in the cantina, out on a ride, and you're having real conversations with people. And I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty
I mean,
special.
and to come there, you don't have to be a social person, but I think people tend to, once you get into the mix of it, you get to know people. People become very good friends. They come back the same time every year. So I don't know. There's just something about the horses, the landscape that just kind of puts everybody at the same level, no matter what your background is, where you are in your life. Everyone comes there and you're kind of on the same, you're on kind of on the same plane. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
space to be. Yeah.
I
I
equate
think
that.
I think it's rejuvenating. It's rejuvenating in a way maybe you might think, oh, like some people might go to a spa to get their rejuvenated, but here's like come to get their soul rejuvenated, right? Connect again.
Right, definitely. I kind of equate that same thing to what happens on the dance floor for for line dancing.
Yes.
It doesn't matter
Yes.
anybody's background. If you can dance,
Exactly.
you all
You're
come
just
together as this
experiencing and you're
community.
just
Yeah,
feel
that's
good.
awesome.
You feel good about yourself and what you're doing.
Definitely. So if
Yes.
somebody wants to kind of experience what you have to offer there at Circle Z, and within this
I'm gonna make a
area.
correction. It's circlez.com. It's not circlezranch.com.
Okay, let me do that right
Yeah,
now.
circlez.com.
Okay,
I don't know where.
um, I'm gonna change that.
Yes, so we have, you can call us, you can email us for our upcoming season. We are still taking reservations. Some weeks are already full, but we do have openings open for Thanksgiving and New Year's. We're no longer open during the Christmas week. We decided it'd be nice to give staff a little give Christmas off. It's hard to work through all those holidays.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, we'd love to hear from you and help you make your plans. People usually fly into Tucson.
Mhm.
People from California oftentimes just drive because it's within 8 hours or so. But Tucson's a great airport to fly into, small airport, and it's about an hour's drive from the Circle Z Ranch. But you
Okay.
can, yeah, check out our website. I'm going to be redoing our website, but there's lots of really good information on circlez.com. a little more photos, and I kind of back off the social media in the summertime, but you can go to our Facebook or Instagram pages, Circle Z Ranch, Arizona, I think, and you can see lots of interactions going on there.
Yeah, I think on Facebook it's Circle Z Ranch, Patagonia, Arizona.
Okay. Yes.
And then I put this up here, and I don't know if people can get into that, the public or not, but the Circle Z Ranch Centennial Celebration on Facebook.
Yes, yes, that's right. It was an opportunity for people to put up photos and stuff. So so I'm using all those photos that are there to put in a kind of a time capsule, which is basically just going to be a compilation of kind of some of the photos we collected over the years. We kind of did this special Saturday night photo op with all the guests, if they were, whether they were dressed in period costumes or not. So that was an area for people just kind of share memories for the
That's perfect.
centennial. But
So,
my main page is the Circle Z Ranch, Arizona, Patagonia, Arizona.
so if you want to, leave a last thought, some advice, or just some thoughts, what would you say?
Mm, come and visit. Let's ride.
Yeah,
It's a riding ranch, and there's a lot of other opportunities to relax and learn and explore. It's a riding ranch, and we're known for it, and we're really good at it, and we welcome anyone, beginners to experienced, to young to old. It's a place for everybody, and I think that's really cool.
perfect. All right. Well, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for sharing today. We covered a lot, but
We
if
covered
there's
a lot.
anything,
Boy, I can
yeah,
talk.
if there's anything that we didn't cover, I hope that you'll come back and give us some updates. You're going to
Sure.
get over here and you're going to go, oh, I should have said that. So we'll get back on here another day.
I appreciate the opportunity. The ranch appreciates the opportunity. And thank you so much, Becca. Congratulations on this new show. I think it's really wonderful. I look
Thank you.
forward to seeing it.
I
Yes.
appreciate it. All right. So y'all just follow us for Wildflower Western Travel, Wildflower Western Lifestyle Live. Make sure you go on Facebook and follow the Circle Z Ranch Patagonia, Arizona page. Is that right?
Ranch, Patagonia. Yeah. You'll find
Yeah, I'm
us.
pretty sure. Yeah. And put that one up there. Circle Z Ranch Patagonia, Arizona on Facebook. And then
Thank you.
also for their website, it is circlez.com. So ignore all the other ones that said the wrong thing.
Sorry.
This is the
I
right
just noticed that. I
URL.
know it was popping up and I wasn't paying attention.
But thank you so much, Diana. And you have a good day. And
Yeah.
we will
Gonna
chat
go ride
soon.
my horse. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
Have a good
everyone.
time.
Nice meeting you. Bye-bye.
You too.